Hello, it's Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the Pooli Smart Pocket Printer. I've recently been sent this little printer and I'm really excited to share with you all the things that you can create with it. And the version that I've got is the L2 HD printer, and there's two different options available. And you can also pick the colour of the little magnetic beak that you put on the side. Along with the printer, I was also allowed to pick out some different rolls. And you can see that this paper is for 10 years, so it's a thermal printer, and after that time I imagine you would see some fading. So great for fun projects, but you definitely want to bear that in mind. So some of the rolls that I've got in this first box, these are very much like till receipt rolls. So it's thin paper and really fun to play with. And I'll be sharing with you later in the video how I use some of these different rolls. This one is a transparent roll. And it's almost like printing on vellum, I think is probably the best way of describing it. So it's quite thick but has a lovely transparent quality to it. I also got a box of some sticker paper, and you'll see with these that they have a blue backing, and you can then just peel off the label side on the front. I really love all of the packaging on this product. I think it's just adorable along with the printer itself. And the final rolls that I got were these three rolls here of labels. And you'll be able to see in a moment how I've used some of these. I found them a little more fiddly to get the settings just right, but I think this would be really handy for labelling your journals or even adding a label to the top of your page. So I've got some green clover labels, some with a yellow background and white flowers on top, and also the blue background with the white clouds. To open up the printer, you just slide the top back, and inside your roll fits just in there, in the hole. And they're as easy as just popping the roll in and then closing the cover up. And the beak itself doesn't serve any purpose other than for it to just look really cute. On the bottom of the printer you have this half oval shape which lights up when it's turned on, space for your USB charging cable, and then the button at the top to turn it on. When I first received the printer, I of course had a play around and tried out all of the different rolls and the different functions within inside the PoooliPrint app. And the app can be used on iOS or Android, and you just connect the printer to your phone by Bluetooth. You can see I've printed some photos here, and I also like the fact that you can print really big photos if you want by just printing it out in two different strips. I think it'll even let you go up to 3 or possibly 4. So this is the PoooliPrint app itself. And I'll show you now how I print off a photo. It's as simple as selecting the photo that you want to print, and you then also have some options for editing the light or applying filters if you want to. And when you press print, you'll find that the printer starts printing out immediately, and it prints out quickly too. And you get a little update on your phone telling you that it's printing and once it's finished. And because this is on the thin paper roll, you can then just tear it off in exactly the same way as you would with a till receipt. There's lots of fun options within the app itself. So I've gone into the notes section first, and you can simply just type freeform onto this page. But you can also add some fun design elements if you want. So you can add little stickers, bubbles, anything else that you want to print off on your notes. I really like some of the fun and quirky designs on here. So this is the Make a List option. And you can just click on any of those and add any different things that you want to get done. And there's also this sticky note section too. And I'll be sharing a little while how I'm going to use some of these. One of the other options that I thought was really interesting is that you could actually print out a website screen. So I'm going to quickly go onto Journal with Purpose, my blog. But I've already printed off a couple of these actually from different websites. If I found sources of information that I found really helpful and I don't want to forget, I can just print those pages off straight from this part of the app. So really good for printing off articles that you're interested in. But I also thought it'd be really good if you've placed orders and you want to quickly print off that order, that you could just do that straight from here and then put that inside your journal if you wanted to. So I'm now going to make a list and print it off. And this is the image I've decided to go for. And as soon as you put insert, it then turns it into a little bullet point on your list. And you can add as many different things on here as you want. As my journal pages are going to be all about my little dog Barney, I thought it would be really fun to create some lists about the kinds of things that I learn from having Barney in my life. So now that I've typed that up, again, I'm just going to press print now that I'm happy with it, and then tear that off in the same way. And I think this little list would be really good for fun to-do lists that you want to put inside your journal and anything else really that you just want to quickly remember. And there's lots of different fun designs to play with. For the final thing that I'm going to print off, I'm going to swap over the rolls. And if the lid does ever pop open by accident, you'll get a little message on your phone saying that the printer's mouth is open. So I'm swapping now onto the sticker paper roll. And one thing I found is you definitely need to make sure that you've got the white side of that sticker roll facing upwards. So it's nice and simple to swap over those rolls, and that's in there straight away. So I'm now going on to the sticky note lists, and I'm going to write out a heading for my journal page, which is Be More Dog. In the UK, this was a really popular advert a few years ago, and it always makes me smile when I think of it. So I'm going to print that off, and because the sticker paper is thicker, I actually cut that one from the printer because it was easier than tearing. So that's now all of the pieces printed off that I want to use in today's journaling video. For my journal itself, I'm going to be using a plain Traveller's Notebook size insert, which I keep inside this vintage-like cover from Start Bay Notebooks. It's actually the very last page in this journal, so I'll be filming and posting a flip through of this completed insert very soon. So I'm just going to flip through to that last page. And I'm going to put some pieces of paper underneath because I want to use my stencil and put ink all over the page. So I'm using this circular stencil. I believe it's by Donna Downey and called Bubbles. And I'm going to use a Distress Oxide ink in Squeezed Lemonade. And I'm then going to use a Ranger ink blending tool to press the ink all over both pages. And I find this is a really fun and easy way to create a lovely bright background on your journal pages. And I think I was inspired by the yellow beak on the Pooli printer, and I've tied in that colour to match. Now that the background is all finished, I'm just going to play around with the images I've printed off, just to check that I'm happy with where I want to place them. And I think this will be a really fun final page inside this journal insert. I started off by adding the sticker paper down, and then I'm using some Pritt stick for the thinner paper, and that holds it down really easily. And I'm just layering the photo of Barney on top of the image that says "Be More Dog," and then I'm adding some green grid classic-y tape just as extra decoration. For the third image that I printed, I thought it would be fun to stick it to a white luggage tag so that I can use it as a tip-in on my page. And it happens to be just the right size for this kind of tag. So again, I'm going to use some Pritt stick to glue that down. I find the tip-in cards are really helpful if you want to add something to your page but still leave plenty of room for journaling space. I'm now just adding another small strip of washi to the top of that printed image. And I'm now using my black Muji gel pen to add some kind of doodly lines around this big circle. I'm going to use this big circle to add a quote on the right hand page. And the quote reads, "The world would be a much nicer place if everyone had the ability to love as unconditionally as a dog." And that quote is by M.K. Clinton. And I thought it was just perfect for these journaling pages. And I then decided to finish that off by adding a little paw print doodle. Next, I'm going to secure that luggage tag to the side of my page. So I'm carefully putting some washi tape just along the edge there, making sure that I leave enough hanging off so that it can fold over the edge of my page, and that will help it act like a little hinge so that I can still open it up. And to make sure it's definitely secure, I'm going to add some washi tape on the back of it too. To add a little extra colour to my page, I'm going to use a Uni Emot fine liner, and I've picked a green pen that I think matches in nicely with the colour of the washi tape that I've used. And I'm just going to doodle in some lines around some of the circles. I thought this was a nice way to make a few parts of the background stand out a little more. I'm then writing on the image on the luggage tag, "Barney says." I like to think these are his rules for life. For some extra decoration, I'm going to use this leaf stamp that is from London Gifties. I've added some black ink to that stamp, and I'm going to put it so that it overlaps slightly with the printed image and onto the journal page itself. I'm also adding some washi tape to the bottom left-hand page and the top right. And I've tried to stick to some really simple colours on this journal page. I'm then going to write a little note to myself on the back of the luggage tag. And I was just thinking about how, to me, Barney is kind of a daily reminder to just focus on the important things in life. Now that the decorating is completed, I'm going to move on to the journal writing. And I'm starting off by adding the date to the top of my page, and for this I'm using a Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen with a firm nib. For the journal writing itself, I'm going to be using this black Muji gel pen. And I'm just writing really about what it's like living with Barney and how he just seems to have this way of knowing perhaps when you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or sad, and at that time he always seems to do something funny which makes you laugh. I also like that he wakes up every morning full of bags of enthusiasm. The first sound I tend to hear every morning is him next to the bed with his tail wagging and hitting the radiator. And he just always wakes up so happy and ready to make the most of the day. And I just felt that there was so much that I could learn from him. So that's what these journal pages are all about. So that is now my journal pages all complete. I really hope that you've enjoyed seeing how I've used the Pooli printer and also me creating my journal pages. I will of course leave a link to the printer down below in case you fancy checking it out. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you've got any questions or comments, then please do leave them down below. And I look forward to speaking to you really soon in the next one.